Dupree with Triangle to Coast Realty, and today for our market update, I am joined with the new Mayor of Angier, Bob Jusnes. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us today. With our market updates, we like to meet with different people in our community and the surrounding areas to get their perspective on the growth and what things that are going on in our area. So my first question for you, I told you I have a lot of questions.
It's all right.
Is that I want to know what is your story? How did you land in Angier?
I grew up in Cary, and as Cary expanded, we moved farther out to Fuquay, where it was quieter, cheaper, and then as Fuquay exploded, we moved out to Angier for the same reasons. And then started a company, had kids, and we really just love Angier. So this is it. This is where we're staying. We're not going any farther out. Angier's home now.
I understand that. I myself have been an Angier native. I grew up here my whole life, and so can't say I have an Angier address now, just a little further south, but Angier's home. It's where my family is. It's where I live. I go to church. I do all those things. So I understand the excitement to be in still the small town. So one of my first questions is, how did you get into being the political side and wanting to be the mayor, or what was that, the light bulb that went off and said, hey, I'm going to run for mayor today?
Ooh. So six months ago, probably, I would not have wanted to be involved in politics really at all. I mean, we go to town hall meetings and be involved like that, and then we could go home and rest and not worry about town politics. But at a certain point, when they opened the filings and I was looking at what our options were going to be, I felt like that I probably was going to have to run for mayor. I called some people I knew and encouraged them maybe to run for mayor, and I would support them. But at some point, I just decided I would try to do it myself. So I didn't necessarily want to be mayor, but we're raising a family here, and we have a business, and are heavily invested in the town and where it's going to go. And so what better place to be to make sure that it turns into what my family can enjoy than this seat right here. So
Absolutely, then being a part of it.
exactly.
And being a part of where the growth is going for Angier.
Yes.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And we're glad that you're with us and that you made that decision and that you're elected and you're here with us now.
That's it. I am officially the mayor.
You're officially the mayor. You were sworn in when? December the 4th?
Yep, last Tuesday.
December the 4th. So on your first day of business, what did you do?
Well, it was kind of nice because as soon as I was elected, we started communicating with town staff and other folks in government here to talk about kind of things that needed to be done right away. So, on December 4th, I took over the second half of that meeting, which was new business, and we were able to do a lot of housekeeping. We had to approve holidays and the schedule and stuff like that, but we did put in a piece of policy about appointed boards. Found that there was a lot of gray area, a lot of not just that, but a lot of things in Angier that have just been kind of operating on, this is how we've always kind of done it, and it wasn't in writing. And so where we see issues or holes in policy, we're trying now to fill those holes with some solid black and white direction on how we're going to do things. And so we did that on Tuesday night, a policy about family members on appointed boards.
Right.
Which seems, like common sense stuff, but we did not already have that policy in place. And so anytime we would be faced with having to question that, we would have to discuss it and talk about it and decide. And we felt it would be best to just make that policy and be done with it so we can refer to it in the future. I think we'll see a lot of stuff like that.
I agree. I think you're going to see a lot of things like that, just basis on that, how much we are growing, how many more people are here, and how many more things that may come across your desk that wouldn't have come across the desk 30 years ago.
Exactly, 30, maybe even 10.
Even 10, that's right. I mean, things have changed super quickly over the
Yeah.
last 3 years here for Angier.
Yeah.
We're actually on the map now, so to speak. You know, it
We
used
are.
to be, for a while, no one knew where Angier was in Harnett County.
Exactly.
Or could not pronounce it at all.
That's right.
So, absolutely. So when you're looking at your term and you have 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
do you have certain things that you're looking to accomplish that you would like to get completed in those times? And just as a broad spectrum
Yeah.
of things that you really want to see change for our area and for the town, and based on the growth, because there is so many people moving,
Yeah.
and children and families and retirees and everyone just come into Angier because they want that little bit of place outside of Wake County.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you have on your agenda or plans for the next 4 years?
So we have grown a lot, exponentially, really, even in the last couple of years. I mean, I knew when I moved here that the growth was coming and it was part of an investment in Angier even 8, 10, 13 years ago. We knew about that. But I think the growth in the last 3 years has hit us a lot harder and faster than I expected, at least. So we have got a lot of growing pains that we're dealing with right now. One of which is amenities. That's a big thing. That's probably the most visible thing that people who live in the town will see that we're lacking on, things like the park, inconveniences like traffic or finding a parking spot downtown is problems maybe that we weren't faced with a couple of years ago, but now because of the growth that we've had and that we're about to experience even more are going to become much more prominent issues. So 4 years sounds like a long time. The town has kind of been sitting on its hands for a while. I know that I speak for myself. I can't speak for everyone on the board, but we're ready to take action on a lot of the projects that have been kind of put on the back burner. You know, financially, the town is stable, and so it's time for us to do some work. Start getting some stuff
I'm
done.
so glad to hear that, because if we wait until everyone is here, you know, and not to say that the town has not done well in the past, it's just we're at different points,
Yeah.
right? We're at a different point. We can't do things the way we've always done them, and we've got to do different things to get to where we need to be, because the growth that we have today is not going to stop.
Yeah.
I, as a realtor, don't believe that we're anywhere close to, we're just beginning, so to speak, in our growth that we have here. So
Yeah.
I'm really pleased, and I know that the town is pleased, and the people will be pleased to hear that we're going to get ahead of that. The growth is even more coming to us.
Yeah, so as of even just today, there are about 2,500 new lots that have been approved to be built that haven't even been started yet. So that's 2,500 more homes in the next couple of years, potentially, that are going to be built on top of what we've already experienced. So the growth is hitting us really hard, and we're ready to be proactive about a lot of this, not only catch up, but try to get ahead as well as we can for that future growth, and then growth beyond that too.
Do you see in that growth new restaurants? You know, one of the big things that I have always been told about the Angier area is we live here, but people don't shop here,
Yeah.
or they don't do all those things that we do. You know, they may be going to Pequay or different areas to do those things. So I really truly hope that we, as having you in the position that can bring other things to the area and more growth when it comes to restaurants and shopping
Yeah.
and things like that.
So I think the former mayor, Bob Smith, said it best at the December 4th meeting in his farewell address. He talked about stuff like that. You know, in the past, Angier has kind of been a bedroom community for
has.
people commuting to RTP. I mean, we've got restaurants and stores and stuff that we need to sustain a life in town here. But Mayor Bob Smith said that, you know, we all would like to see nicer restaurants and some more retail and kind of come out of the bedroom community feel to a more self-sustaining town. In order to get that, we needed a population. So the restaurants and retail that we would like to see, you know, some of them have invested in properties in Angier a long time ago, and they're just kind of waiting to see. The magic number that Bob Smith used was 10,000 for the population before really we would start to be considered by some of this retail, restaurant stuff like that. And I think he put it very well when he said that he had done his job. Our population right now, we haven't had a census since 21, I think, but I would estimate that we're probably around 7,000 right now. And by the time just the current lots that are approved get built out, will be, I think, far past the 10,000 point. And so that's when we'll be able to start, soliciting, get some good business, good restaurants, and we're getting some of them now.
Right.
I mean, just in the next couple of months, we'll see Harvey John's open,
Absolutely.
a soda shop in downtown. I know that Winging It is working on opening over there. So we're starting to see a trend of more upscale restaurants that really invest in atmosphere. And not that we don't have that now. We've got fantastic restaurants already.
We do.
But it's great to see more restaurants come because we've got 3 kids and I work full-time with my construction company. And so we eat out a lot between sports and stuff like that. And we love all the restaurants the town has, but we are ready to welcome a couple more options.
And I think that just comes with the people. Like
It does.
Mayor Smith said, I think it comes with the people that more of those things will be here. So I'm glad to see that that's, in the thoughts and the trajectory for the town. So one of the big things, I think that you and I first met, I started the group, Atown Lowdown. And that Facebook group is just really to be an informative site, a positive forum for all the things that are going on in the area. However, I started that because my son, I'm a mother and a wife and all those things in the area, and we do play at the Parks and Recs.
Yeah.
And I started that because of the traffic that's there. And one of the big things that I have questions for, and I know that I really truly support, is the growth in our Parks and Recs.
Yeah.
What do you see with that coming in your term?
Yeah. So Jack Marley Park is a fantastic park. People even from neighboring towns will come visit our park. Our 3 kids are in sports too. And so we know exactly what you're talking about. With the traffic on game nights, I mean, can you even park in the park at all? Is a question. So I joined your group when you started that group, pre-politics or anything like that, because I understood those concerns. I also was fighting traffic and stuff like that. I spoke to the town manager just this morning about listing projects that we wanted to do and starting to prioritize them so that we could work towards completing. One of them is the new park that I think a lot of people already know about, where we already own the land.
Right.
We've already got some tentative plans. They're pretty well developed. It's not anything that we're ready to pull permits with. And we're discussing a phased approach, which would be to develop the road into the park and play fields, a couple play fields and parking to help just get some of that load off Jack Marley Park. So even if we don't build the whole new park in one shot, we still could take a lot of stress off Jack Marley that way. Now that's been in the works for a couple of years now, but I think maybe they've hesitated to take some action, but we're ready to start working on that. That's a big concern for a lot of people.
Well, and just like you said, when we talk about with people comes restaurants, with people comes children and people, and we want to certainly hold them in our area and not have them going to other towns to play sports because it's a frustration or whatever. I mean, anyone that's ever been out there understands what it's like, but I agree with you. I think starting in a phase or having some things there, I'm glad, really truly glad as a mom and someone that has someone in that area that's in the parks, that's on your plans as well.
I think a lot of people appreciate it too, because even our Parks and Rec program is so great that we see a lot of people that come from Fuquay or Apex or even farther than that to join our sports programs because they're more affordable or better organized or for whatever reason. So it's not even just the people in Angier who will benefit from better parking and more access to sports and stuff like that. We bring in a lot of people from outside, which is good for business too.
It is. They're going to eat dinner when they're done at the
Hopefully
park, right?
so, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm truly glad to hear that because I
Yeah.
know that that's been one of the questions that parents or people have had in the areas is truly in regards to the parks and recs. But it sounds like you've got a full 4 years ahead of you.
There's a lot to do, for sure.
There's a lot of things on your plate. There must be something in the name with Bob. I just realized you both were Bobs, like when I'm sitting here.
Yeah.
So there must be something in the
I think
name.
it was just meant to be. I think people just didn't want to change from Mayor Bob, and so that's
They just,
maybe how I got
that's what they did.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything you want to add to us
Yeah.
today?
So the parks were a big concern, and the growth was probably the other largest concern that I noticed during the campaign. You know, we've talked about needing to grow to a certain population so we can get the amenities we want. But the other half of what Mayor Bob Smith's farewell statement was he felt like he had achieved the growth he needed to start attracting that, and whether or not we should consider slowing down on the growth. So maybe not R6, blanket R6 at townhomes, or we're not sure. We actually are in the process of scheduling a meeting that I requested. I asked the other board members if they were interested to have kind of a short-term growth strategy meeting. And obviously later this year, we're going to work on the comprehensive use plan, which is a much larger plan for the growth. But I could see a need, especially, you know, even in the last couple of months with rezonings and annexations, that the new board is going to get together, put our heads together and decide we can't stop growing. We must always grow at some level. But we are all of the board is interested in doing it more controlled and more thoughtfully.
Planned.
So we're going to strategize as a board and consulting with the town manager and planning department to find out what we as a town, how we would like to grow moving forward. The growth that's already done is done. But from where we're at moving forward, what we would like to see that look like, and then find ways that we can get that while keeping everyone happy. You know?
Well, I like the word you used, control, because if you think about the people that have been here in this community their whole lives, or have called it home their whole lives, it has been kind of like mind-blowing what has occurred over the last 5 years in this town. And I think the controlled aspect and having that within the town and within the board and everyone that is a plan.
Yeah.
So that when it's going to continue to grow, but at what level, it's not going to be a mass entrance of tons of people to the area that we can't drive up and down 210 or 55. And I think that's a really great comment. And so that it is more planned out.
It is, because we've got traffic. You know, traffic is bad here twice a day. If it's not morning rush hour, afternoon rush hour, it's not bad.
I never thought you'd say that in Angier, though. I gotta
really,
say.
But you know, at rush hours, I mean, I live by the post office, and traffic is backed up from the light past the post office sometimes. Traffic's a big concern. We've got water and sewer problems that are being worked on. They're being paid for by the state, which is fantastic. But the process to repair, to catch up on infrastructure, and get ready for future growth is going to take 2 to 3 years. The bypass that they're working on right now will help a lot with through town traffic at rush hour, but again, it's several years before we see that come to fruition.
Right.
So we know that in the near future, hopefully within my term as mayor, we get a lot of relief on some of the stresses we're feeling right now. But it's very important, I think, to everyone on the board that we're careful with how we continue to grow in the period between where we are right now and where we'll be in much better shape.
Well, I think, you know, even for the whole county, that we as a county have grown so much that we have to be ready for the people that are coming. And I think I like not a pause, but just a moment of I like the word control of what is coming, because the schools is a big issue. Yeah. Like, where are the kids going to go?
You know, our kids are in all the schools too, and they're overcrowded. And I've got nothing to do with the schools. The town itself does not control the schools, but certainly,
as a parent, you understand.
Exactly.
Or more coming in.
Right.
There's, you know.
Yeah, and it's no discredit to all the people who have come before. The growth that we've had just in the last several years, I think, surprised a lot of us. And I think that the people before have done the best they could to manage.
Absolutely.
But now that we, you know, myself and the new board have got the benefit of already having gone through a round of this growth, and so we're able to see with hindsight where we may have fell short and what we need to do moving forward to try to get ahead of it in the future.
Absolutely. Well, we're really excited that you're mayor.
Thank you.
And look forward to the next 4 years. And
Yeah.
hopefully you'll love it so much you'll do it again.
We'll see.
We'll see.
So far, I like it.
Yeah, just how many days now? Just a couple?
About a week, but it's really great. I'm glad to be able to represent everyone, and just do the job for the people.
And I'm sure that if other people that view this have inputs, that there's a way that they can shoot you an email
Absolutely.
and let you know anything that they have as concerns. But thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We're glad to have you today.
I appreciate it.